News: Caitlin Clark. Following a July 15th injury to her right groin, Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark underwent further medical evaluations earlier this week. The team can confirm that no additional injuries or damage were discovered through the evaluations. Clark will continue working with the Fever medical team on her recovery and rehabilitation, with the priority on her long-term health and well-being. There is no timetable available for Clark's return, and no additional details will be provided at this time. Any further updates will be shared as they become available.
The superstar who brought basketball back to life in Indiana just delivered the loudest message in WNBA history without saying a single word. Caitlin Clark, the face of women's basketball, has reportedly cut off all communication with the Indiana Fever's medical staff after her latest devastating groin injury. She is seeking her own doctors, making her own decisions, and leaving her own team completely in the dark. This isn't just a player getting a second opinion. This is a full-blown Kawhi Leonard situation, a superstar rebellion born from a complete and total loss of trust. And it could be the beginning of the end for Clark in Indiana.
So lads, this is not a great look for the Indiana Fever organization. If you've got Caitlin Clark, the star of the Indiana Fever, she's going and seeing whatever about not seeing the Indiana Fever's doctors. Like, it is what it is with that. It is what it is. Like, I think a lot of players and teams get second opinions. But if you haven't seen here, Stephanie White says there's no update on Caitlin Clark or potential timeline. She met with another doctor, but White says she hasn't spoken with the trainers.
When Caitlin Clark limped off the court on July 15th, clutching her right groin, it wasn't just another injury, it was the breaking point, the catastrophic failure of a system that was supposed to protect her. This was the fourth separate muscle injury she has suffered this season: a left groin strain, a left quad injury, and now a right groin strain. For a player who was a virtual Iron Woman, never missing a single game in her entire grueling college career or her intense rookie WNBA season, this injury parade isn't just bad luck, it's a screaming red flag of medical mismanagement. The breaking point reportedly came when Clark was rushed back from her previous injury. A broadcast report from Holly Rowe suggested she had no full-speed practice time before returning, a claim that, if true, is a stunning indictment of the team's entire medical process. They treated a high-performance athlete like a disposable asset, and now they are paying the price. This isn't a slump. It's a pattern of malpractice that has
pretty much kind of leaked out the bag to the team that she was kind of going to get a second opinion. To me, an athlete like Caitlin Clark on her level, she should have been getting these second opinions. She should have been hearing from all these other doctors, man. But Stephanie White spoke to the media yesterday. She really didn't give a whole lot, but she did say that Caitlin Clark was in New York meeting with other doctors. Now, with all of that being said, what does the timetable look like to me for Caitlin Clark coming back? I keep telling y'all, around the 17th to the 30th of August.
This is why Clark is now pulling a page directly from the Kawhi Leonard playbook, a move that should send shivers down the spine of every Fever fan. When a superstar of this magnitude loses faith in their team's ability to keep them healthy, they go rogue. Reports are surfacing that Clark told team officials, in no uncertain terms, "I'm getting my own doctors." I'm not using our doctors. She has met with outside physicians and specialists in New York and is reportedly refusing to give any updates on the results to the team's training staff. When your star player is essentially firing the medical team and taking her health into her own hands, that's not just about an injury. That's about trust being completely and irrevocably shattered. It's the exact same scenario that led to Kawhi Leonard forcing his way out of the San Antonio Spurs, a move that permanently altered the landscape of the NBA.
She has met with a different doctor. And she won't even give an update to the team. Not, oh yeah, she's met with a different doctor and we're waiting on an update. She's waiting, or not even, well, that's basically it. They're waiting on, she's gone to a different doctor and they've heard nothing.
The organizational dysfunction extends far beyond just the medical room. It's deeply embedded in the coaching philosophy. Let's talk about the tale of two coaches. When the Fever hired Stephanie White, fans thought they were getting an upgrade. What they got instead was a coach who seems determined to fix something that was never broken. Her predecessor, Christy Sides, for all her other flaws, understood one fundamental, non-negotiable principle. When you have a generational talent like Caitlin Clark, you build your system around them. You don't try to force them into your system. Sides let Clark be Clark. She gave her the ball, let her run the offense at her preferred breakneck pace, and watched the magic happen. The results were a record-breaking rookie season and the team's first playoff appearance in nearly a decade. White, on the other hand, wants Clark to play.
But the internet noticed something specific that Holly Rowe had to say on the broadcast. Holly Rowe said that before the last return after a quad injury, she had no practice time, which, if that's actually true, like if she wasn't practicing, if she wasn't going full speed, then why was she returning to the court? And that's actually something that I pointed out. I believe it was Scott Agnes reported that Caitlin had gone full speed in practice, but there was only one practice that she had gone full speed, and then she returned to play.
Caitlin Clark's team has made it known we are going to be holding her out until she is fully recovered. We are not going to be rushing her back at all. After taking Indiana Fever's advice, eventually Caitlin Clark needs to take matters into her own hands, make decisions for herself, and I believe that's what we are seeing with the team that she now has surrounding her.
The loss of trust in the medical staff is not an isolated event. It's a symptom of a much larger disease within the Fever organization. It's a ripple effect that touches every aspect of Clark's professional life in Indiana. When you can't trust the people in charge of your physical health, how can you trust the coach's game plan? How can you trust the front office to build a competent roster around you? This medical rebellion is a vote of no confidence in the entire organization. It signals to the world that, from Clark's perspective, the Indiana Fever are not a first-class operation. They are a franchise that has failed in its most basic duties, to keep its players healthy and to put them in the best possible position to succeed. This isn't just about a strained groin, it's about a strained relationship that may be beyond repair.
The people are speculating that Caitlin Clark injury could be much worse than expected. You know, these type of injuries and the way she's been getting these injuries is not normal. To have these strains back to back to back like this, and I said this before, Caitlin Clark mobility is off, bro. I believe she might have came back too fast from the first. We all know the first one went down around the 25th of May. Then she came back and got re-injured around the 4th of July to the 5th, somewhere up in there of July. And then that brings us until now.
The only good news about today is Caitlin Clark is no longer dealing with Stephanie White and these coaches and this Indiana Fever medical staff, trainers, doctors, none of that. She's seeing her own medical doctors, her own team. That's the only good news of today. She has abandoned the Indiana Fever medical staff, and I'm happy about it. She's pulling a Kawhi Leonard, what he did with the San Antonio Spurs, letting it be known, hey, look, I'll get back to y'all when I'm ready. I'm going with my own medical staff. Y'all can beat it, kick rocks, and I stand with you, Caitlin Clark.
This is why that secret meeting in the Barclays Center tunnel was so significant. It wasn't a coincidence, it was a consequence. While the Indiana Fever are busy mismanaging their superstar on every conceivable level, a competent, professional, championship-winning organization, the New York Liberty, is making their pitch. The photos of Clark with her agent, meeting with the Liberty's coach and star players, were a calculated move. It was the Liberty showing Clark what a first-class operation looks like, a place where a superstar's health is prioritized and their talent is maximized, not minimized. They were not just talking, they were planting the seeds for an exit that the Fever are making more likely by the day. It was a glimpse.
The problem of this team is Stephanie White. It's Stephanie White. It's not Caitlin Clark. A great player don't all suddenly sucks. That doesn't happen. It's strategic. And everybody's saying that they played better without Caitlin Clark. No. Actually, even this loss, Caitlin Clark gives them a better chance. They're under 500 without Caitlin Clark.
But this is how it starts in sports. This is how it starts in the NFL. This is how it starts in the NBA. When you start seeing the wheels in motion, there's signs. There's signs before eventually a player gets traded. A player eventually marks their next destination. The Indiana Fever, you're on notice. You're on notice. You better recognize what you've got going on, the asset in front of you, and you do whatever you have to do to correct what is happening.
Here's the uncomfortable truth that the Indiana Fever front office needs to accept. Caitlin Clark doesn't owe them anything. She has already delivered on her end of the bargain 1,000 times over. In just over a season, she's given them sold-out crowds, record-breaking television ratings, a Commissioner's Cup trophy, and hundreds of millions of dollars in franchise value and league-wide revenue. She has single-handedly made the franchise and the league relevant. What has the organization given her in return? A parade of preventable injuries, coaching instability that undermines her greatest strengths, and a medical staff she can no longer trust. The Fever had a simple job: build around their superstar and protect her at all costs. They have failed spectacularly on both counts.
Out there, why Caitlin Clark was injured is a real thing. It's not just because she's a good player and people go hard against her, in my opinion. There's some other stuff going on there. A lot of pressure to put people in seats, to put eyeballs on the game. You come back a little early. Teams, as they should, play hard against her. Some teams go over the line and refs seem to look the other way, in my opinion. You had some of that going on with some other talent in the league as well last year. But this is different. And Stephanie White needs some blame as well. The team seems a little rudderless.
Remember Peyton Manning when he called his own plays? He said, Tony Dungy, you run the defense, I run the offense. That's what exactly needs to happen in Indianapolis. Caitlin Clark is literally Peyton Manning. She should be calling the plays. She should run the offense. And Stephanie White call the defense.
This situation is drawing comparisons to another Indianapolis legend who understood his own value: Peyton Manning. When Manning was at the height of his powers, he famously told his coach, Tony Dungy, "You run the defense, I'll run the offense." That's the level of autonomy a generational talent earns. Caitlin Clark is the Peyton Manning of this team. She should be calling the plays. The offense should run at whatever pace she dictates. Every other player on the roster should be chosen based on how well they complement her skills. Instead, Stephanie White is trying to make Clark fit into her vision. It's a fundamental misunderstanding of
There is a WNBA team that have been very, very, very much in, like, they made it clear that they want Caitlin Clark, or they're eventually going to want Caitlin Clark. Along those lines, they made it very, very clear. And that team is the New York Liberty. I think there is a 50-50 chance Caitlin Clark leaves Indiana after her rookie season. No, after rookie contract is up. Because,
quote, "This is the first time I haven't felt like a young body that can run around and sprint every day and just continue to do that," Clark said in an event during All-Star Weekend per Glamour. Being a professional athlete, you really have to take care of both your body and your mind. It's been a journey learning about that.
The clock is ticking, and the Indiana Fever are on the verge of committing one of the greatest blunders in modern sports history. They have completely fumbled their relationship with their superstar. The loss of trust with the medical staff is the final, most damning straw in a season of breathtaking mismanagement. This is no longer a question of if she will be frustrated, but when she will decide she's had enough and demand a way out. The Indiana Fever can either clean house, fire the incompetent staff, and beg for forgiveness, or they can prepare to watch their generational talent walk away, leaving them with nothing but regret and an empty arena. Caitlin Clark's patience has officially run out.